It's Press Pass with Jack Ebling, Mid-Michigan's spirited sports debate. Now let's get talking sports. Here's Jack.
Great evening, Mid-Michigan and beyond, and welcome to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It is time to meet Team 251, Graham Couch, columnist for the Lansing State Journal, is a Gus Macker superstar, and a firm believer that every sport has its season and only its season, right?
Yeah, and this is soccer season. It's probably what MLS needs to look at, right? How do you get out of the way of finishing your season in football season?
I thought that once the World Cup was over, soccer season is over. That's not
for a lot of people.
Case, right?
It coincides with football and basketball. Premier League starts beginning of late August, beginning of September. That's a big deal now in this country.
Also want to welcome Darian Harris, 5-year MSU linebacker, co-captain of the 2015 Big Ten champions, aspiring broadcaster, youth coach, graduate student, and future athletic director. We talk about everything having its season. You're a man of all seasons, but it's football season.
It is football season in both senses of the word, I guess. You know, kind of sad to see the World Cup come to an end, but we had a great finish today. But I think Doug retweeted it today. It's 6 or 7 Saturdays until college football kicks off. So training camps are about to get started. You know, everybody's coming off their vacations, and summer sessions about to get rolling in college football. So should be an exciting, compelling season in both the college and the NFL ranks.
You spent a year up in Ottawa. What was that like to have the season start so early and end early?
Yeah, it was definitely a lot different. Having training camp in May was a little bit different, and getting to playing games, you know, pretty early was obviously a different feel, but fills a void. You know, there's a lot of sports out there that fill the void. So if you're looking for football year round, you can find it. New league starting next year after the Super Bowl, the Alliance of American Football. So we're gonna have football year round pretty soon. More
jobs, Doug Warren.
Yeah.
A lot of other players will get a chance to play. That's one thing the basketball has that football doesn't.
Yeah, it's true, and let's see if football can rectify that. I'm interested to see how this new league works out. I mean, I was honestly watching Canadian football the other day, Edmonton and Toronto. I watched some of that game the other night, so I've been ready for football to start for at least a month, since the Tigers have shown that they have no reason to pay attention to them.
Doug Warren is Director of Sports Programming for the Spotlight Radio Network. He's also producer of The Drive with Jack and Tom on the Team 92.1 FM, and he is our pro football Detroit Lions historian. And we saw some video this week of the Lions actually winning a championship back in 1957,
yeah,
right?
It's been a long time, Jack.
Vintage stuff. All right, we will be back in just a couple minutes. We have a ton to talk about tonight, and we're going to start by talking about the World Cup final. Congratulations to France. Vive la différence. We'll be right back.
Larry? Sorry, Larry's on the road again, but you can always find him at larrysrvservice.com. Take virtual tours, apply for financing, even schedule mobile service online. Let Larry find a great deal for you at Larry's RV in Jackson.
Larry, are you out there?
WSYM Fox 47 is an equal opportunity employer and is dedicated to providing broad outreach regarding job vacancies. We seek the help of local organizations in referring qualified applicants to our station. Organizations that wish to receive our vacancy information should contact our Human Resources Department by calling 517-484-7747.
If a sandwich needs a little something extra, you add bacon to it. If a sandwich is perfect just the way it is, you add bacon to it. Arby's, we have the meats.
Save on quality supplements during the Wyckoff Wellness July Supplement Extravaganza. Through July 31st, all Wyckoff Wellness supplements are 20% off, both at our East Lansing store and online. Wyckoff Wellness carries the highest quality of supplements, including multivitamins, omega-3 fish oil, vitamin D, antioxidants, herbal remedies, and more. Supplements for intestinal health, weight loss, memory, sleep, and energy. You don't have to be a patient to take advantage of these special prices. Save both in the office or online at wyckoffwellness.com.
The 4 Battle for Stardom, Thursdays on Fox.
At Graf's, we're kicking off summer right, and we're cooking up some hot car deals, too.
Order for another hot car deal, Dad.
You got it.
Get into a 2018 Equinox for only $136 per month.
That's a hot one. And Graf will give you $2,000 more than the appraised value of your trade.
Or Graf will make up to 6 payments for you with Graf Lease Pull Ahead.
Looks like we need another hot deal.
Drive off a Silverado double cab for just $140 a month.
Hey, I want to try this. Hot deals coming up. Oops. Chris, it's all in the wrist.
The Student Bookstores are Green and White Shop headquarters. Outfit your entire family with Spartan gear. We have a large selection of men's, women's, and children's clothing. Show off your Michigan State pride with new shoes, socks, hats, and more. Have your tailgate ready with MSU party supplies, car accessories, and dress your pet in green and white. We have gifts for students, grads, alumni, and fans. From Vera Bradley and Dooney and Burke to diploma frames and more. Always shop SBS for the biggest and best selection of green and white. Go green, go white, go SBS.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Tracking a Trophy segment, and what a trophy it is. Doesn't look exactly like that cup, but it's the most sought-after trophy in the world, right, Graham?
I think so.
The World Cup. And congratulations to France. You see the people outside the Arc de Triomphe, Eiffel Tower, the Champs-Élysées. And that party will be going on well into the morning hours. It's France's second World Cup title. Darian, you nearly nailed the score on the head Friday afternoon on the Drive with Jack and Tom. I think you said 4-3.
3-2.
3-2.
Yep.
It turned out to be 4-2.
Yep.
So it was even more explosive. How did France win the World Cup in what would be the equivalent of maybe a 56-28 Super Bowl?
Yeah, well, they were clearly the better team, and I think that everybody knew that going into this game. And I wouldn't say Croatia was a Cinderella, so to speak. They were a good team and had a great tournament, but I just thought that France was going to be too overpowering, too much speed on the pitch, too much length with their forwards, and it showed. It showed in the entire game. Once they jumped out to the 2-1 lead. It kind of seemed that Croatia really didn't have a chance to really make a run, make a breakthrough in the game. So I thought France was an overwhelming better team going into this game, but obviously hats off to Croatia to making it, but obviously big time for France to get that second World Cup.
I actually thought Croatia was the better team for part of the game. In the first half, I would argue they outplayed them, even being down 2-1 at times. Right. And what stinks is that France's first goal, the free kick on a dive, that's the stuff I think Americans can help get out of the sport. Like, you got to have a challenge flag there.
Right.
Anything that's that close on a kick. The second one, the handball, that's part of the sport, whatever.
Clear.
But the free kick that gave him the first goal on a dive, I didn't like.
How would you compare France to some other World Cup champions in this century?
Well, it's hard to, because every World Cup is its own thing, right? Yeah. This team was a very young team, very, as you said, explosive, a lot of offense, dynamic up front, and won what I think might be the best World Cup in a long time. Now, maybe it feels that way because in this country we care more than ever, even without the U.S., but this was the most compelling World Cup that I can recall in my lifetime.
Would you agree with that, Darian?
I would. I think that just the social climate, social media helps with that. It's so much easier now for people in the U.S. to know who these players are, who these guys are because of social media. I mean, you look at the big names, obviously Ronaldo, Neymar, and Messi. You look at their social media following. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of millions of followers on social media. So you know these guys, the good things, the bad things in terms of Ronaldo and Messi and their issues, and everything just with social media blows everything up. So now you're tuning in to see these guys, maybe not because you're a fan of soccer, but because you're a fan really of pop culture, and that's what athletes are a part of nowadays.
Doug Warren, if every soccer match could guarantee 6 goals, would you be more interested in the sport than, say, watching Pac-12 football replays?
I would not, but I admit fully that I'm a football nerd. So the scoring isn't so much for me. The diving. I was watching it while we were doing the show this week in the studio. The games were on the last couple weeks. The diving just turns me off from it. I like to see scoring chances. I like watching hockey because to me, there's more scoring chances. There's more action. I appreciated soccer more this year, but I don't know if I could get into it. Maybe 8 years from now.
You know what got me this year, and I really discovered it, and part of it was like being on a treadmill during these games, but it's the constant tension without a commercial break.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I would try and go back and forth, like the other day, third place match, Serena Williams. And then to be like 2 games commercial, I'd be like, all right, back to the soccer. In this country, we don't have commercial break sports. And
it's different when you watch a movie on commercial television or watch it on HBO.
Correct.
And you get that same thing.
This is the HBO experience.
Yeah.
That's what soccer is.
The 2022 World Cup in Qatar is going to be played in November. This is right in the middle of the U.S. football season. Will that tamp down the enthusiasm here? Will we have to wait until 2026 event in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico for the game to really explode in this country?
I think it already has exploded in this country. And so I think we can withstand this. Now, it will be interesting, right? It's going to be very different. It's like Thanksgiving to Christmas. Now, it's a decent window there, but there's playoff NFL football. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how the weekend TV contract stuff works, if it's Fox or how that goes. I think we can handle it. I think it stinks. I'd rather have it in the summer because, again, fill a void, right? Yeah. This is what the World Cup does for us. We don't need the void. We're good in November and December,
real good.
But we're still going to watch, and we are now all in. In fact, it's going to take away from early college basketball, NFL, college football, because it is that big.
Doug, if soccer has exploded in the U.S., how come you and I haven't been hit with the shrapnel?
I mean, it's relative. I think soccer at a certain point can be bigger than baseball. Is he ever going to be bigger than football, college or pro? Probably not. Not
basketball.
anytime soon. NBA is continuing to grow, which, I mean, I find myself watching Summer League basketball now, and I find it as good or better than anything a college game offers. So I don't know. Soccer is growing, there's no question, with the younger people, but I'm probably not going to be watching a ton of it, especially 4 years from now when it's in the middle of football season.
Darian, you love soccer, but not more than the NBA, right?
Oh, no, definitely not.
Sacrilege to even suggest that. All right. We will be back in just a minute. We're going to have our Law of the Jungle segment. And Justin Verlander ran into the Detroit Tigers today. We'll be right back.
Team spirit. Face paint. More cowbell. Dean Trailway's Motor Coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
Hello, my name is Dr. John Braccio, psychologist. If you or your child have problems with focus, inattention, sitting still, memory, concentration, these are traits of ADHD. Visit us at drjohnb.com.
Whoever said growing old had to be boring never spent a day with these guys.
Who are you guys? The cool kids?
Damn straight we are.
Really? Him?
The Cool Kids, this fall on Fox.
Don't miss Last Man Standing.
Weeknights at 6:30 on Fox 47.
What does your child dream about? No matter how big their hopes are, Lansing School District has the pathway to make them real. We also have free transportation to help your child pursue their interests at any of our specialized programs across the entire city. It's all part of the Lansing Pathway Promise, and it's the first of its kind in mid-Michigan. Get in on the action this fall by enrolling in a truly unique opportunity for your child. It's why we always say, go ahead, dream big. The Lansing School District. We'll get you there.
Introducing A&W's new chicken sandwiches. 2 large, juicy hand-breaded chicken tenders stacked with toppings to create the ultimate two-handwich. Choose from classic or buffalo slaw, made with Frank's Red Hot Buffalo sauce. Now at your local A&W.
Team 1 in Charlotte is celebrating Sign and Drive No Money Down, where you pay no money down on a new car. That's right, no money down on your next new car with Sign and Drive. Only from Team 1 in Charlotte. Find your next vehicle at team1charlotte.com.
Team 1. Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time for our Law of the Jungle segment, brought to you by Retirement Protection Services and longtime area financial advisor Jack Vogler. Earn interest based on stock market performance with zero exposure to market downturns. Give Jack a call at 339-4777. That's 339-4777. I'm glad I did. Justin Verlander on the mound. What in the world? The best pitcher in the American League, and gives up a home run to John Hicks, and then gives up 3 other home runs, guys who don't normally hit him. And it's the first time in Major League Baseball history that a pitcher has struck out 12 batters, walked none, and given up 4 gopher balls. So Justin Verlander said he was going to be a little bit nervous, and maybe now we know why. Doug, I know you would rather talk about the Detroit Lions than the Tigers, but what did it mean for the Tigers to rock Justin Verlander as opposed to having him come and shut him out as they get ready for the post-All-Star phase?
It doesn't really mean a ton. I mean, it's one game. The Tigers are still 16 games under 500 in the worst division of baseball. They've lost 7 of their last 10 games. They lost 10 games in a row a little earlier last month. It's just, they're a brutal baseball team. The only thing you could take out of it is Victor Martinez got to celebrate a little bit today by leading the cat calls against Justin Verlander, his old buddy when they were together with the Tigers. It means nothing, and it shouldn't.
Justin Verlander had a choice, Graham. He could pitch in the All-Star game, take today off. He said, no, I want to pitch against my old team. Wonder if he's having second thoughts right now.
Probably not, because I think it's still a big moment. I think he still respects the Tigers.
Yeah.
I don't think it was an out to get the Tigers. If it was a vengeance thing, I think it would be different. And where I would disagree with Doug on what it means, you're right, in the long term, this is one game and a long bad season. But this is a long season, right? It's a grind. And to get a feel-good win over a guy like Verlander going into the All-Star break makes the All-Star break feel better. It makes you feel a little better coming out of the second half. And part of it is getting through it while playing as inspired of baseball as you can. And so to that degree, maybe this helps a little.
So Darian, as an athlete, how does this happen? How does a team that can't get a run across the plate against inferior pitching suddenly hit 4 home runs against best pitcher in the league?
Well, you find the motivation sometimes, and the motivation obviously was playing against a former Tigers great. Now, obviously, there's no bad animosity there, but you do understand that, Verlander obviously was rewarded essentially for all he did with, for Detroit, but he was rewarded with a World Series ring. So there's still guys on the team that play with him that are still suffering through this long and bad season, and they wanted to stick it to him a little bit. It'll be all nice and fun after the game, but I do think it was big, in the very, very, very short term for the Tigers to get that win.
He went out to dinner with some of his former teammates the other night, and they said, there was a lot of banter going back and forth, so the Tigers have at least one thing they can brag about. Graham, 41 and 57 at the All-Star break, and they're on pace to win 67.8 games, the projection, which never holds true. But what is the goal the rest of the way?
Well, the over-under is 67.5, so they're
right
sliding, well, given where they're not on track for that anymore based on the way they're playing. I think the goal is obviously the future, right? So it is, you're going to do something in the trade deadline. What are you able to move?
Yeah.
And is it Michael Fulmer? Can you, when you have a guy who's under control for 2 more years, can you bring back marquee prospects for him? And then it's developing young guys. Are young guys ready in the minor leagues that you can bring up and plug in a couple different places? I think we may start to see that. It is about the future. It's also about establishing a culture. I don't think anybody has thought the Tigers play baseball the wrong way. They're just not very good at it right now. You want to keep doing that, keep a certain energy. And then when you do have prospects come up or you're able to trade for them, there's an energy that comes into and some hope that comes with that.
Darian, the All-Star game, Tuesday night, your neck of the woods, Nationals Park. You have an interest in this or specific matchups? How much attention you got?
Not too much. Love the park, love Nationals Park, but I think all All-Star games across the plane of all sports are kind of diminished a little bit. And you don't have the only superstar really in the home run derby is Bryce Harper. So last year's with Aaron Judge was compelling. This year might not be so much.
We're going to have some live reports Monday and Tuesday from Jim Stark from Nationals Park. And we'll be right back with our Going Green segment. Michigan State up next on Press Pass.
Here's this week's fairs, festivals, and fun on Fox. Enjoy affordable family entertainment at the Jackson Hot Air Jubilee, July 20th through the 22nd. Tethered balloon rides, helicopter rides, and more. For a complete list of events, go to hotairjubilee.com.
RPM Auto Sales is ready to help you get the car you need at a payment you can afford. Our spring inventory has arrived, like this 2014 Chevy Malibu LT or this 2010 Lincoln MKZ all-wheel drive for just $72 a week. With 5 car lots and 2 salvage yards. If you're looking for a sports car, motorcycle, trailer, or just that hard-to-find part, RPM has you covered.
Larry? Sorry, Larry's on the road again, but you can always find him at larrysrvservice.com. Take virtual tours, apply for financing, even schedule mobile service online. Let Larry find a great deal for you at Larry's RV in Jackson.
Larry, are you out there? I'm like a truce machine.
Weekdays starting at 4 on Fox 47.
At Graf's, we're kicking off summer right, and we're cooking on some hot car deals, too.
Order for another hot car deal, Dad.
You got it.
Get into a 2018 Equinox for only $136 per month.
That's a hot one, and Graf will give you $2,000 more than the appraised value of your trade.
Or Graf will make up to 6 payments for you with Graf Lease Pull Ahead. Looks like we need another hot deal. Drive off a Silverado double cab for just $140 a month.
Hey, I want to try this. Hot deals coming up. Oops, Chris, it's all in the wrist.
Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified, humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin of the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
The Knapp Center is a historical hub for future business growth in beautiful downtown Lansing.
The Ide Company did the best they could to preserve the integrity of the history of this building while incorporating a modern open workspace.
They have been prompt, they have been efficient, and they really are a friendly, great group of people that we don't have any concerns about calling them for any of our needs.
Opportunities for retail, office, restaurant, and residential. Build the future as a member of the Ide Company family.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Going Green segment, brought to you by Graf Chevrolet, a trusted friend with 104 years in the automobile business. Stop and see Matt, Mark, and Greg on West Grand River in Okemos. They'll take great care of you, as they have on all 6 of my leases and purchases. Go green, go Graf. There you see the Michigan's. Ooh, who was that got knocked over the pile? Is that Devin Bush Jr.? I think so. Blocked by Luke Campbell. Of course, he has somebody there for him to trip over, but Devin Bush supposed to be the most ferocious player in the Big Ten, and this led to another salvo of trash talking. And Devin Bush says, little brother's talking? They must be out of timeout now. Darian Harris, when Devin Bush made that comment, and then the Allen brothers, who are definitely not little brothers, weighed in to this. What does this kind of conversation do for Mark D'Antonio, Ken Manny, and for Michigan State to never lose the chip?
I mean, obviously it helps with that, but they don't need any extra motivation to be able to make that happen. I mean, at the end of the day, when you step foot on this campus as a Michigan State athlete, you understand the dynamic of the rivalry, and I mean, this just adds to it. It makes for the game this year to be even more compelling. This will be brought back up on all networks before kickoff, the week before kickoff. It'll be asked about in the media and those things. And honestly, I don't understand the point of bringing up the little brother thing from a Michigan player's perspective. I mean, in this day and age, at this time, considering the last 10 years, do you need any more motivation for this game? No, but why add some? Why put more fuel on the fire? And it's clearly being said in a demeaning manner, which means you think that MSU is inferior to you. However, that's not been the case in the past 10 years. So it seems to me that that's just the mindset that's always going to be there until somebody that's higher up, coach, somebody changes that for the players.
I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. One thing we know is that Michigan's going to have an attitude, sense of superiority, and Michigan State is going to keep that chip there as long as they can, Graham.
Well, yeah, this goes back to who let who into the Big Ten, right?
Yeah.
This goes back, there are a lot of, and these are generations of Spartan fans and Michigan people who lived through 30 and 8, right? Or that stretch
Votes about other schools, various stages.
Yeah, I mean, but it is interesting now, though, that you do have this stretch from MSU that's fairly dominant. I mean, it really is. And that anybody would talk smack. This seems like a time you just kind of fold up shop and get the job done and be quiet.
Doug Warren, taking a look at these last 10 scores, what do the Spartans have to do to get U of M's respect, or is it like asking House Republicans and Democrats to go on a canoe trip?
Now, you might have a better chance of asking Michigan State players and coaches to go on a canoe trip than the other people you're talking about. But no, they're never going to get the respect. I mean, most of the fans don't respect them, so the players don't, clearly. And Jim Harbaugh is too busy doing donuts on Michigan's football field and other things. He just still really doesn't seem to understand the magnitude of this rivalry. And until they do, Michigan State's probably going to win more often than not. So I don't see that changing.
Graham Couch, going to be an official announcement tomorrow. Bill Beekman losing the interim tag, and who will be Michigan State's Director of Athletics. I find it interesting that having been here 40 years, I've never spoken to the guy. The only guy who knows him in the media here is Tom Crawford through the Junior Trojans football program. What do you make of tomorrow's announcement, and what kind of job can Bill Beekman do?
It's interesting, and we don't know. From people I've talked to, he is a terrific administrator. He's well-liked, salt-of-the-earth guy. I've heard all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But athletic directors, it's about fundraising a lot. Can he do that well? There are a lot of parts of this. And eventually you will have to pick 2 coaches at your marquee programs.
Right.
That's when you really earn your money. So those sort of things, I don't know. And look, if you have somebody who's well-liked in the department and a great administrator, that's one thing. There's a lot else to being an athletic director, and I don't know that he knows or they know that he can do that part right now.
Darian, you're going to be an athletic director someday. What are the most important attributes, qualities that Bill Beekman can have?
I think you got to be assertive. I think you got to be obviously a leader, but I think being assertive is important, especially in this time, in this climate at the school. I think you have to step in, show that you can take charge, and understand there's going to be a lot on your shoulders. You got to be able to take a lot of pressure, and know that it's going to be all eyes on you. Because as we said, all intents and purposes, we've heard that he's a fantastic administrator. Now he's stepping out, obviously, into the light. It's going to be all eyes on him when they, make the official announcements and the press conferences and things of that nature. So it's obviously a different ball game being at the forefront. But like I said, for all intents and purposes, it seems like he's definitely the man for the job.
Well, he won't be the Big Ten's greatest showman like Mark Hollis, but is it important that the athletic director be innovative, imaginative, or are there other things that are more important?
I think you just you cater to your strengths. Mark Hollis had a marketing background. That's what he knew. That's what he did, and that's why he was able to put the aircraft carrier games together and things of that nature. If you stick with what you know, you should be successful.
What do we know about Bill Beekman, Doug?
Nothing. It's kind of a blank slate right now. We're going to have to wait and see.
Probably the blankest slate we've ever seen come into Michigan State. Maybe Merritt Norvell. We'll be right back with more coming up on Press Pass.
Team spirit. Face paint. More cowbell. Dean Trailway's Motor Coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
The student bookstores are Green and White Shop headquarters. Outfit your entire family with Spartan gear. We have a large selection of men's, women's, and children's clothing. Show off your Michigan State pride with new shoes, socks, hats, and more. Have your tailgate ready with MSU party supplies, car accessories, and dress your pet in green and white. We have gifts for students, grads, alumni, and fans. From Vera Bradley and Dooney and Burke to diploma frames and more. Always shop SBS for the biggest and best selection of green and white. Go green, go white, go SBS.
Sunday, September 23rd. Don't miss the 911 two-night premiere event.
It must be hard being a first responder.
And if you missed a heart-pounding second of 911 Season 1,
we have to get her to the hospital.
Watch it anytime on Fox Now and Hulu.
The only way to survive the job is to find a way to cope with the ones that lose. But when you actually save someone, there is no better feeling in the world. get you out of here, I swear on my life.
911, the two-night premiere event, starts Sunday, September 23rd on Fox.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 47.
The 2019 Subaru Outback. It comes with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive plus 32 miles per gallon. And Subaru is the most trusted brand for 4 years running, according to Kelley Blue Book. This may be our most adventurous Outback yet.
Lease a 2018 Subaru Outback for $241 per month with 0% financing on select models. Test drive one today at Williams Subaru.
Step right up and support adoption at your local Wendy's restaurant today.
Donate $1, get a free sandwich coupon, and put your name on the wall now through July 30th. For more details on the annual LPGA Pro-Am for adoption, visit wendyscharityclassic.com.
The great outdoors has a lot to offer, and if you're ready to experience it on the next level, Greenstone can help you get it done. We finance acreage of nearly any size, with terms up to 30 years. Greenstone Farm Credit Services. We finance the great outdoors.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for The Big Picture. Brought to you by Dean Trailways. With trips for every season, Dean takes care of the details so you can enjoy the experience, including daily casino runs and great getaways to northern Michigan and Chicago. That's Dean Trailways, your favorite ride. You see Miles Bridges, and he made some explosive athletic moves in this NBA Summer League game. Didn't shoot the ball well, but did a lot of other things and rebounded, had steals, assists, played a complete game, and he was the most aggressive player on the court. Graham Couch, when you watch Miles and some of these other guys, we talked about Travis Trice having a chance maybe to catch on, is performing very well in this league. What do these Summer League performances really mean, and can it be as misleading as Moneyball stats?
Not as misleading as Moneyball. Moneyball is a summer run pro-am where the defense is lax. You got Nick Ward cherry picking, hanging on the rim.
Yeah.
There's a lot of showmanship. This is serious stuff because guys are trying to make teams, right? And you're often running the offenses or versions of them that you'll be running, getting into the system. Guys are trying to get European contracts. Everybody's scrapping out there. So I think you can take quite a bit from it. Not everything.
Right.
You remember the year Contavious Caldwell-Pope was dropping 24 a game for the Pistons, and that didn't translate necessarily. So there is a level up when you get to the actual NBA, but it's important that you show it in the Summer League and you're playing against guys who are playing, you know, it's very different from what Miles was doing in Moneyball.
Yeah, Darian, I think about a team like the Lakers, okay? They went against the Pistons today. And I'm thinking, none of this matters because they're not going to be running any of this stuff. When LeBron is there, they have to do something completely different. And unless they can show that they can hit that outside shot and do what LeBron's going to need him to do, they're just conditioning.
Right, absolutely. But it's exactly what Graham said. It's about who's going to be on the 15-man roster, who's going to get a two-way contract. There's a couple of those to hand out. So, I mean, if you look at a team like the Lakers, you look at a guy like Josh Hart, who's been playing exceptionally well, probably as a front runner to win MVP. Now you're looking at him as a guy for the second year in a row to probably be on your roster. But, I mean, he's fighting for a roster spot. You know, if he wasn't, he wouldn't necessarily be in a summer league. You know, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, you know, Lonzo Ball's hurt, but players like that aren't in Summer League right now. A guy like Josh Hart's playing extremely well, and it's solidifying himself as for a spot on the 15-man roster.
Yeah. Doug Warren, I'm going to switch a little bit and go back to Big Ten football because we've got Big Ten Media Days a week from tomorrow in Chicago. And it isn't just a Michigan State-Michigan debate.
Right.
South of the Michigan-Ohio border, there's equal amount of passion directed toward the same school in Ann Arbor, but I want to take a look at some statistics and the dominance that Ohio State has shown in this series. And over the last 64 years, and then again in the last 20 years, it's made up most of the gap heading into the 1950s. Michigan had a tremendous advantage going back through the Fielding Yost era and the Fritz Chrysler era. But what does it say when your rival has this kind of an edge over you?
Well, a lot of this rivalry with Michigan and Ohio State is still living off the juice from the 10-year war, Bo and Woody. This thing goes in cycles. I mean, the last 20 years, like you see, since 1998, Ohio State's had a tremendous coaching advantage with Jim Tressel and now with Urban Meyer. Head coaching contest, there is none, as it was earlier with Bo and Lloyd Carr. Those guys kind of dominated John Cooper and Earl Bruce to a certain extent. So this thing goes in cycles, but you look at the numbers speak for themselves. Ohio State is one of the greatest college football programs in history, the most dominant in Big Ten history, and the numbers speak for themselves. So I don't see, when you look at it that way, the debate is really there. Ohio State's still the king of the Big Ten, unless Michigan State has something to say about it, as they've had the last couple of years.
Darian, you spent some time with Lloyd Carr recently in Jackson. When you see what he did against John Cooper, and Coop was 2-10-1 against Michigan, but Lloyd Carr couldn't hold up to Jim Tressel. Is Jim Tressel that great a coach and John Cooper, a Hall of Famer, that bad?
Well, I mean, I think, as Doug said, it goes in cycles, and you can tell the disparities in coaching. I mean, obviously, Michigan State had issues with Michigan before Coach Mark D'Antonio comes to the forefront, and now the last 10 years, Michigan State's won 8 of them. So, you know, getting a new coach in there, getting a guy like Jim Tressel, a national championship winning coach in there, obviously is going to change the name of the game and change the landscape. And right now, we're seeing an advantage leaning, obviously, towards Urban Meyer over Jim Harbaugh, and eventually it'll change. Everything changes. You know, everything changes in sports. Eventually the Lions will win a Super Bowl. Eventually the Pistons will win a finals again. Obviously they've had success. I do believe, you know, it'll happen eventually. The Tigers will win a World Series. I mean, that's just what happens in sports. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than others, but I mean, these ever-going cycles are why sports is so great.
Graham, how many programs in the country can match Ohio State or say we have more to offer?
Maybe Bama.
Maybe one.
Yeah, it's about one.
Makes for an interesting question, Doug. We talked about what good jobs were, and to me, the Ohio State job, you've got everything you could possibly want going for you. You've also got a ton of pressure, and 2 losses is a failure. We'll be right back with more on Press Pass.
The Shaheen tent sale's been extended. So have the incredible tent sale deals. And you can still enter to win a new Chevy Equinox. Just come register under the tent. We'll draw the winner of the new Equinox on August 1st. Win a new Equinox only at the Shaheen Chevrolet tent sale. You won't get it anywhere else. Hey, that's my line.
In a world in need of integrity, Fox 47 presents a team of superheroes that will rule your daytime. The League of Justice, bringing truth, compassion, humor to a city yearning for fairness, led by the masked crusader Judge Millian.
What business do you have having a minor who's 16 go with you instead of her parents? You're a grown man.
People's Court puts naughty people in their place. Then Paternity Court saves the day by finding out who is your daddy.
I'll dismiss your case and throw you out. Got it?
The Mighty Mathis and the sizzling trio of hot bench blaze the trail for the Queen of the Court, Judge Judy.
Because you were being paid in cash that you weren't reporting.
The League of Justice rules weekdays on Fox 47.
Gordon Ramsay's 24 Hours to Hell and Back, Wednesday on Fox.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
So, I got my start in officiating when a friend told me I should try it. At first I just did basketball, and I got hooked. Before long, I added baseball, softball, football, and volleyball. I really enjoyed giving back to the game, working with kids, and working with my local association to recruit and train new officials. I would like to say to anybody that officiating is a great way to help kids and stay connected to the game. We always need new officials. There's help wanted, just listen.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we have a taste for adventure, because the only way to know how good something can be is to go for it. Try our veggie smoothies, Island Green, made with spinach, kale, pineapple, banana, and mango, and Caribbean Seaburst with carrots, mango, banana, orange, and goji. Adventure begins with never knowing until you try, but always expecting something great. Go for a veggie smoothie at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Eat better, feel better.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time for Paving the Way, a new segment brought to you by McKerney Asphalt. your smart choice for all commercial and residential paving. Give Team McCurney a call at 484-3188, as I just did, and give your property a great new look. If not, it's no one's fault but your own. You see the women's final at Wimbledon, and Serena Williams going to tie Margaret Court for the all-time record Grand Slam championships, and going up against Angelique Kerber. Angie, some of her teammates call it. Oh, what do we have here? I have a lot of these incidents today where people are imitating soccer players, Graham. But there you see Kerber going down in celebration of the championship. Doug Warren, we were talking Thursday at Spartan Brew Pub about the greatest athletes in all sports, in all time. And it was suggested that Serena Williams could be top 10, if not top 5, if not top 10. And you weren't buying that. Why not?
Well, I think if you're talking top 10 female athletes of all time, that's fine. But if you're going to say she's one of the greatest athletes of all time, you can't do that, because if you just look at tennis, can she beat Federer? Can she beat Sampras? If you want to talk about all athletes, you have to put the women against the men, and I don't think that's a legitimate argument. But with her place in women's tennis history, women's sports history, it's unquestioned. She's probably the greatest athlete of all time.
But in her sport, I mean, if we measure people in their sport,
right,
women's tennis is different than men's tennis.
Yes.
And so there's no question that, yes, she can't beat the best men's tennis players in the world, but she doesn't play men's tennis. She plays women's tennis, so I think you can make that argument.
Where would you have Serena Williams?
It's tough because, like, I mean, I even look, even within tennis, I look at Steffi Graf, who had 22 majors, and really from 1989 to 96 was more dominant than maybe Serena ever was. And if not for Monica Seles coming along, who, before she was stabbed in the back in that changeover, was a really dominant player, Graf would probably have the lead put away by quite a bit. So there are other people even within her own sport that I think, if we're really going to be objective and look at it historically, we have to look at. That said, I mean, she's up there, right? And now what she's doing at this late stage, I think, and especially if she does more in the next year, you can certainly argue she's in any top 10.
She had a serve, Wimbledon, over 125 miles an hour.
But the game has changed as well. I mean, you know, you think about what Goran Ivanisevic was serving, 20 years ago for the men, and that was like 124, and that was the high. So the game has changed too. The rackets have changed.
Well, you're a tennis player. Can you make the case that in her sport, she is every bit as good as Tom Brady or LeBron James, and neither of them had to come back from a pregnancy at age 38?
Absolutely. And LeBron James is a great example because of the power, right? I mean, she is a powerful, powerful player. And so you can absolutely make that, just like with Tom Brady, you can argue he's the greatest quarterback ever, but you can also argue people of other eras, Elway or whatever is your guy. And I certainly think if she gets, the stats are going to say she is, and it's hard to make an argument against her. Now you can look in peak value, career value, but longevity, her dominance of a pretty good era of women's tennis too has been incredible.
Dan Wetzel was making the case the other day that she's right up there with anyone. Darian, you've watched her a lot. Where would you put Serena Williams on your list?
Yeah, I mean, she's in my top 5 greatest athletes of all time, easily, if not the greatest, because you know, I understand Doug's point of she could definitely not beat any of the men's players, probably beat some men's players, but probably not the top men's players. But I don't think you should measure greatness like that. I think you measure greatness within your own sport. Within her own sport, she's the most dominant. She doesn't really have an equal. They try to make it Sharapova, and that's been a complete wash. I mean, Sharapova has no chance anytime she plays Serena, so she doesn't have anybody that's equal to her, and that's not her fault. You know, she's come along and taken out everybody who's been at the top. This one was just unbelievable to me, coming back from the pregnancy almost.
Yeah. What's too bad is
be able to walk.
What's too bad is, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's been 9 months and she couldn't walk, right? Yeah. So, but what's too bad is she didn't play in an era with Graf, with Seles, or Navratilova before that. Just when there was
Venus is not enough.
Well, and Venus had a good run, but there were a few women who have been over the course of a decade dominant players as well, and it would have been cool to see her have a rival like that.
Is she paving the way for other young tennis players, minority players in this country, to embrace the game?
Yeah, I mean, we see Sloane Stephens coming along. We've seen a couple others. So obviously she is. I mean, you know, the Williams sisters, you know, both of them together, I mean, they're going to have movies, multiple movies with different actresses coming and playing them. Their whole story coming from Compton and everything. I mean, it's a phenomenal story. So just all of those, you know, included into the body of work is why I have her easily in my top 5 greatest athletes of all time. And I can make the argument that she is the greatest athlete, man or female, to ever live.
And with the dominance in her sport, I mean, today, Kerber is only the second person to ever beat her twice in a Grand Slam. Right. Venus is the other one. I mean, she just dominated unquestionably. It's an amazing run to do it at 38 years old like she still is. It's even more so.
Imagine if it was a Billie Jean King, Bobby Riggs match and Serena at her prime against an aging Andre Agassi. What would
she'd beat Agassi right now.
She would now?
Oh, absolutely. Agassi's out of the game, without question.
Anybody who's not at the peak performance. We'll be right back. We're going to have our Take It to the Bank segment, all our guarantees, up next.
Team 1 in Charlotte is celebrating Sign and Drive No Money Down, where you pay no money down on a new car. That's right, no money down on your next new car with Sign and Drive. Only from Team 1 in Charlotte. Find your next vehicle at team1charlotte.com.
Team 1. The Ionia Free Fair is in full swing. Don't miss the bigger Midway, more carnival rides, yummy fair food, 4-H exhibits and farm animals, free concerts on the E-Park stage with Pump Up the 90s, a Journey tribute band, Kids Got Talent, and Ionia Idol, plus ticketed events in the grandstand, like 2 nights of the NTPA Truck and Tractor Pulls, plus the Bump and Run Derby. Bingo is back, and there's a new DJ Teen Tent, nightly with paint, glow, and foam parties. Details at ioniafreefair.com, or keep the daily schedule at your fingertips by downloading the mobile app.
From books to building, the Greater Michigan Construction Academy will help you take your skills to a high-paying career as a tradesman. Pick from GMCA's 11 skilled trades and be in the running to earning a starting salary of $40,000 to $70,000. Go to gmca.edu for more details. Skilled Trades, the other 4-year degree.
Prime Watch Daily.
Weekdays at 2 on Fox 47.
At Graf's, we're kicking off summer right, and we're cooking on some hot car deals, too.
Order for another hot car deal, Dad.
You got it.
Get into a 2018 Equinox for only $136 per month.
That's a hot one, and Graf will give you $2,000 more than the appraised value of your trade.
Or Graf will make up to 6 payments for you with Graf Lease Pull Ahead. Looks like we need another hot deal. Drive off a Silverado double cab for just $140 a month. Hey, I want to try this. Hot deals coming up.
Oops. Chris, it's all in the wrist.
Hello, my name is Dr. John Braccio, psychologist. If you or your child have problems with focus, inattention, sitting still, memory, concentration, these are traits of ADHD. Visit us at drjohnb.com.
Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified, humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin to the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
Stay in touch with Fox 47 weather everywhere you go. Download the Storm Shield app, now available through Google Play or the App Store.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Take It to the Bank segment, brought to you by Dart Bank, dedicated to meeting the needs of our banking community for more than 90 years with 4 convenient locations in Mason, Holton, South Lansing, Grand Ledge, and the expanded Home Loan Center in Frandor. That's Dart Bank for what matters most. Talk about Wimbledon and injuries, and here you see someone who obviously isn't going to be able to continue in tremendous discomfort. Don't know exactly what that is, and that looks like soccer-inspired for him. Rolling around here now. I think he's going to get working on his chest here in a moment. He is all right. He can get back up, but just trying to have a little fun, I think. Graham Couch, we have college football less than 7 weeks away. What can we take to the bank about Brian Lewerke and the Big Ten's quarterbacks?
I think it's going to be a really good year for quarterbacks in the Big Ten. And when it's a good year for quarterbacks in a league, it's usually a good year for that league. And the reason I say that is it's not just Brian Lewerke. You know, it's Trace McSorley, it's Nate Stanley at Iowa, it's Alex Hornibrook at Wisconsin. When you have veteran returning quarterbacks.
You didn't mention Shea Patterson.
And well, it's Shea Patterson as well. I mean, but here's a guy who has the people have high hopes for him.
Thorson, right?
We haven't seen him yet. But what I mean is when you have veteran returning quarterbacks, good programs, that usually bodes well for those programs. So I think you will have a number of teams in the Big Ten that are in the conversation, the top 15 in the country.
How about Dwayne Haskins, Ohio State? A lot of people think that just got a taste of him last year. He came into that game in Ann Arbor when Ohio State was behind and lifted them to victory. Darian Harris, what can you guarantee about Tom Crawford's 12-0 prediction for the Michigan Wolverines, and that includes a sure victory on October 20th in Spartan Stadium?
Well, I can guarantee the 12-0 is wrong. I mean, they're not going to go undefeated. Definitely don't think they're going to win the Michigan State game, especially it being at home for Michigan State, it being at Spartan Stadium. MSU returned to 19 to 22 starters. I mean, everything is pointing at Michigan State to win that game. But I don't see Michigan State beating Ohio State this year either. Might fall one more time. Still will probably have a really good season, make it to a pretty good bowl game. But in terms of making it to Indianapolis, I just once again don't think this is going to be the year.
Doug Warren, I've been saying 9-3, and that is just about halfway between Rico Beard's 7-5 projection and Tom's 12-0. Which is more likely, 7-5 at 5 losses a year ago, or 12-0?
I thought you were going to ask me 9-3. I'd say 9-3 is more likely. 12-0 is not going to happen. I think the best chance Michigan has is to finish third in the Big Ten East. I don't think they might not finish fourth again. I think Penn State might slip a bit down to fourth, which in the toughest division in football is possible. But I think out west is going to be more intriguing. Wisconsin clearly is the best team on paper. I think Iowa is going to contend this year, and I'm interested to see what Nebraska does with Scott Frost in his first year. I think they're going to pull an upset, maybe two. They're not going to win the Big Ten West and get to Indianapolis, but I think the Northwestern might be a little poorer than people think too.
Well, it's not insulting to say Michigan probably isn't going to win it. Michigan has the toughest schedule,
yeah,
I think, in the Big Ten by a long way. Yeah. And their non-conference game is at Notre Dame, where Michigan State goes to a rebuilding Arizona State club. I mean, there are a lot of reasons. There are 6 games that they could lose, and that's a lot for a team that has a new quarterback and still some questions.
Would you be shocked if Wisconsin was not back in Indy?
Not shocked. I mean, we've seen it from Iowa, right? This could be one of those years.
Iowa, some other team, Purdue, some other team could do it.
Yep.
Would you be surprised if Wisconsin wasn't in?
No, same way. I mean, the West it could be anybody.
Yeah. Nebraska could be a factor in that too.
Best offensive line in the country and a veteran quarterback. I'd be very surprised if they weren't back there. The question is, who will they play? There are 4 candidates. I think Ohio State, we don't know that much. We know they're Ohio State. We know they've got players. We'll be right back. Our Cool and Smooth segment up next, brought to you by Culver's. All of our weekly awards next.
Team spirit. Face paint. More cowbell. Dean Trailway's Motor Coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
You're up. There's an old saying, you can never have too many officials. The age of the average official is 52 and getting older all the time. We're constantly recruiting new people, younger people to join us. After you register with the MHSAA, look on the website to find an officials association near you. They'll put you in a position to succeed as an official. We all learned a lot from high school sports, and officiating is a great way to give back to the game. There's help wanted, just whistle.
Touchdown, Champions. Working with the Ide Company, 1, is very easy to do. 2, they're very responsive to our needs. And 3, as we've grown as a company, they've listened to those needs and they've helped us plan out our future in terms of growth that needs to be done at this location.
It's just comforting to know I'm working with the Ide Company, knowing that they can accommodate our growth. In that way, they're an excellent partner.
Opportunities for retail, office, restaurant, and residential. Build the future as a member of the Ide Company family.
Get a hold of yourself. Modern Family, nightly.
Weeknights at 6 on Fox 47.
The 2018 Subaru Forester is the best way to get where you've always wanted to go. With road-gripping symmetrical all-wheel drive and 32 miles per gallon, with 8.7 inches of ground clearance plus available X mode. And Subaru has the lowest 5-year cost to own of all brands for 2017, according to Kelley Blue Book. That's peace of mind wherever the road takes you.
Lease a 2018 Forester for $236 per month with 0% financing on select models. Visit Williams Subaru in Lansing today.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Cool and Smooth segment, brought to you by the 5 Culver's locations in mid-Michigan. Since 1984, Culver's has been delighting guests one meal at a time with scrumptious butter burgers and premium frozen custard. That's Culver's. Welcome to delicious. All right, Team 251, who has been as cool and smooth as a Culver's mint explosion this week. And Darian Harris, let's start with you and our play of the week.
For play of the week, wanted to put the World Cup to bed the right way. So picking one of France's 4 goals, going with Mbappe's very nice strike in the 65th minute. He's the first teenager to score in a World Cup final since some guy named Pele. So, wow. I mean, what France has in Mbappe is special. Obviously, what PSG has in Mbappe and Neymar on the Champions League tour is special as well. So, you know, could see France as a contender in the next several World Cups, because Mbappe at age 19 wasn't even alive the last time France won a World Cup. I mean, can you imagine 19 scoring in a World Cup and winning it? It's pretty special. He's definitely the best young player in the entire world right now.
All right. Doug Warren, what about our game of the week?
Game of the week, staying in Europe and London, the Ladies Championship at Wimbledon. Angelique Kerber beating Serena Williams 6-3, 6-3 to win her first Wimbledon title, 3rd career Grand Slam. And Kerber is only the 2nd woman to beat Serena twice in a Grand Slam final. The only other one to do that is her sister Venus. So congratulations to her, the game of the week.
Sounds good. Graham Couch, what about our team of the week?
I'm going to make it 2, and it's going to be the World Cup and Wimbledon, sort of the teams of the week, because they were so.
You're not going to the East Lansing Soccer Complex.
Yeah, I mean, this was the most compelling World Cup I've ever seen, as I mentioned earlier in the show. And I mean, right to the very finish. I mean, this was France was an interesting team. England, Belgium, Brazil going out. Neymar, Messi going out earlier. Riveting throughout. I thought Wimbledon this last weekend, with the 6-hour semifinals, with Anderson and Isner, and then Djokovic and Nadal, and I mean, those two turning back the clock, and then you see Serena.
That match finally did end, right?
Right, and Serena, I know she really didn't play well in the final, but she was terrific in that run, and you can see that she is motivated to try to get another, or at least have another good year. I thought it was great theater for a weekend in sports in the summer.
Sounds good to me. All right, our player of the week. First, I want to give a shout out to East Lansing's Taylor Manson, now at the University of Florida, and just won a gold medal in the IAAF Championship 4x4 relay. She's got big things in store for her on the international level. Doug, we were at Spartan Brew Pub the other day, and Haley Fishman, this didn't happen last week, but she had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and she said, I'm going to throw the discus one last time. No one thought she could do it. She scored 5 points in the event. Hope wins the league championship by 4.5 points. Unbelievable story. And I want to put up a picture here. Darian, you're in this photo. And this is Anthony Ianni. And this is the Autism All-Star Hoops Camp. There you see Darian on the right and his buddy Twan Jones on the left. A terrific event. Kind of thing. You're doing a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely great to get in the community, and what Anthony does in the special needs community is amazing. Obviously, him being the first autistic player in NCAA Division I basketball history, what he's continued to do with sports, with getting those kids out and moving around and active is amazing. So anytime we can get involved in those things are great, and it's really appreciative of Anthony to invite us to do those things, but hats off to him and the amazing work that he does with those types of things.
Absolutely. I also want to thank everyone who has contributed to the Marcus Strong GoFundMe account. A lot of support from Mid-Michigan. I talked to Josh today, and he's overwhelmed at what this area has done to try to support him and his family. I want to thank Graham Couch, sports columnist for the Lansing State Journal. Busy day tomorrow with Bill Beekman. Darian Harris and Doug Warren. And we will be back next Sunday. And don't forget, catch us on The Drive with Jack and Tom, 3 to 6 on the Team 92.1 FM. Have a great week, everyone.
Looking for a used car? Then look to Shaheen Chevrolet. We have Lansing's largest selection of used cars and trucks. Late models, low miles, and no worries. Because our GM certified pre-owned vehicles come with a detailed history report, 2 warranties, and included maintenance. You even get free OnStar and XM radio, all at Shaheen's great low price. And find special internet deals at ShaheenChevrolet.com. You get a better used car deal because you get a better used car at Shaheen Chevrolet.
You won't get it anywhere else.
Mallory and I would like to say thank you.
You made Fox 47 Morning News Mid-Michigan's fastest growing morning newscast.
We'll see you tomorrow at 7.